One time in my life, I felt that. What was my purpose? And sometimes you graduate out of high school, you look for that job, you look for that career, college, the degree. You still question, is this my purpose? Well, I want to tell you, until you find the center of your being, you will continue to walk and live.
It really is that damn phone. You know it, everybody knows it. Many people don't want to admit it, but some people are responsible, some aren't. But regardless, it's about a 10% of what you're consuming that is actually good for you. It's about a good 10%. Maybe it's more. I hope it's more for you, right? But if you're already in a defense, that's going to prove a point I'm going to make earlier. But I hope it is. But like I said, it's about a 10% of all of that content that you consume that's actually good for you. The other 90% of that junk is frying your brain. It's frying your brain. And the thing is, we sit there and tell ourselves,
what's the difference between a nice guy and a good man?
Yeah. Right about that in there, but a nice guy is about something. A nice guy gets along. Yeah, do that. Yeah, I'll do that. They don't necessarily have discernment or judgment, not sure what they stand for or stand against. It's like, yes, 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 sure. Yeah, hey. A good man has ideals that they stand for and they'll stand against, and when they're tested, a good man is not a nice guy. That's in the chapter of manning up. I was that time when I was doing the rom-coms, and that's all I could do. I was feeling like my work was just me as a nice guy. And in life, I was not just a nice guy. Like I said, Camilla's pregnant. I got a child coming. I was feral with masculinity. And in my work, maybe I was feeling a bit neutered. And I was like, well, I'm a good guy and a good man in life, but I'm just a nice guy at work. Can I be roles that can be a good man? And that was dramas. Because in dramas, you can stand for or stand against something. Your ceiling for pleasure and your basement for pain are up to you. How do you feel about it? And no direction can go, that's too much, or that's not enough. You got too angry there. Oh, you meant that too much. That didn't come in a drama. Those come in a rom-com, right? Because the emotions and how you feel are compressed to be in a buoyant level and a threshold that's up bouncing from cloud to cloud only. Dramas are as much pain, as much evil as you want to go, as deep, dark you want to go. Get there. Let's see how far you go. How high you want to fly. How close to that sun you get before you get burned. Go. Let's see how far you go. That's what you get in a drama. Much more like real life. And so, good guys being a good man's a lot harder for good reason. Not going to be most popular. Not going to be always most affable. It also doesn't mean you got to be a dick or an asshole. It just means sometimes you got to go, I believe in this is for me, and that is not for me. And because that is not for me, if you do trespass into my space upon me and my family, I will do my best to cause consequences. And I'm going to let you know that. I hope that's apparent, because I'm not going to intrude on you, but if you trespass that, I'm going to stand up for it. And that we can talk our way out of that, great. No, it doesn't always work that way. A good man's not looking for trouble, but if it comes, and if he or something he cares about and those were susceptible to being trespassed on by trouble, a good man does what he can to do to stop that.
This world today is tough. It's tough for young people. It's tough for people that for years have had jobs and security and made good money and been able to take care of their families. And some time ago, as you know, jobs were shipped overseas to improve the bottom line of big companies. And I thought I'd tell you a little bit about myself. I quit school when I was in the 10th grade. My mother and father left me standing on a street corner. And so it was up to me to make it. And I had a job working at a Shell filling station. And I went to the owner and I told him my situation. And I was making $1 an hour, and I asked him if I could work more hours. And so I began working 90 hours a week. And during that time, as I've said before, my home was the back of an old car. And I worked my 90 hours a week. And I took my baths in a filling station restroom. And I washed my clothes, my private clothes, in the sink. And once in a while, when I was really hungry, I would go to the grocery store and snitch an apple or an orange. Now, this was in the 50s. Things were a lot different than they are now. And I'm convinced that the owner of the grocery store knew what I was doing, because it was about a half a block away from where I worked, and he knew me. Now, I've said before that good things nor bad things last forever. And that's true. And I began to learn different things. I knew in my soul that if I had nothing to offer, I was as far as I was going to go.
Do you think people are wrong for chasing happiness?
I mean, it's a fleeting thing. You can chase it. You chase things that you can't catch. You don't chase things that belong to you.
Yeah.
Right? So people chase happiness because they think that that's what they need, when in reality, happiness is just a byproduct of becoming the best version of yourself. So instead of chasing the emotion, become the type of person that is experiencing that emotion, and you can be in that state more consistently.
And people would link generally happiness to a lot of money or a lot of fame, right? That's what people generally lean towards. What do people not know about having the money and how it doesn't really fulfill you in terms of the happiness?
It's not the money. What is money? What is fame? It's just leverage. What people want is leverage. Leverage to be able to do what they want, say what they want, have what they want, whenever they want. Freedom. That's what people want. Today, we just happen to have different tools in order to get them. But once again, 500 years ago, I could have all the money in the world. A warlord could come in, take over my land, and no amount of money would take care of me. He would just take it and pillage it. So money isn't necessarily the ultimate beacon of what people are actually looking for. People are looking for leverage to become free. And you don't need much to be free. You don't need much in order to have leverage. You need to have financial stability, not be in debt, have net positive income versus your expenditure, and give yourself this time, space, freedom to be able to create, think, and find solutions to new possibilities and find alternatives to a better life. It's about removing the static. That's the freedom. That's the freedom. You can do it and achieve it with very little. The peasants back in the feudal age, they only worked 140 days out of the year. When we call people peasants here, they get mad. They're working more than the peasants used to. It's even worse.
Let's start talking about the purpose and how you're going to find your purpose. One piece of advice that I can give to you to find your purpose is to spend time with yourself. Spend time away from distractions, away from people who distract you, who take your time away from you. Now, when you talk about taking time away from you, I'm talking about taking time away from the things that you may enjoy. You may used to write, you don't do it anymore. You may used to sing, you don't do it anymore. You may used to read books and you don't do it anymore. You may, whatever your hobby is, try to get that back into your life. That's one part of your purpose because you have this gift that you're not exercising, that you used to exercise, and you decided not to do that. That's one way of getting back into the groove of who you are, what you're created to do.
2 years ago, I dropped out of college. I was a business finance major.
Hey, my name is Shane Stouffer. I'm a business finance major. I chose to be a business finance major because since a young age, I've always had a passion for money.
My GPA was a 1.6, and I decided, this isn't for me. I'm no good at this. I don't like doing this. I'm moving on to better and greater things. Fast forward 5 months after I dropped out of college, I hadn't done that much dope at all. Mostly just a ton of drugs and more drugs. I don't know. Technically, when you really crunch the numbers, I found myself addicted to drugs and homeless. I didn't do anything except for party and derp around all the time. My parents cut me off financially. So what did I do? I went back knocking on my old frat's door. Hey guys, you know that stinky old storage closet that you guys got downstairs? I was wondering if I could move into the storage closet. And that's where a lot of you guys met me. That's where I started posting my first YouTube videos.
I've not cleaned my room since last weekend when we were all drinking. And everyone for some reason likes to hang out in my tiny room. Laundry, clean clothes, dirty clothes, vitamins, bed. This is our bathroom. You know how it goes. Not too bad. Got the eggs cooking. But you know, this is just not ideal for meal prep.
And over the last 14 months, my life has changed dramatically. I went from abusing steroids, addicted to drugs, addicted to gambling, broke. 14 months later, now I'm still addicted to steroids, addicted to drugs, addicted to gambling, but I'm not broke. In all seriousness, in the last 14 months, my life has changed dramatically. It feels like I've been able to do any and everything that I want. I've made over $10 million. I've retired my parents. I bought my first house. I bought my dream car. I bought a iced out chain with my name on it. How cool is that? Doggy chain, where's this? Over here. I don't know. Like Patizzard. I've met so many incredible people that I look up to. I've gotten the opportunity to meet and hang out with. Even a few of them I call my really good friends now. It really feels like I finally got my closure. The old me always dreamt of this life, and now we're here. As you grow, your dreams evolve, so now I want bigger and better things. But as far as what that old me wanted, in just 14 months, I checked off every single box that I could ever dream of, and significantly more. And for something that spectacular to happen in such a short period of time, it wasn't by accident. And a lot of people ask me what the secret sauce was. What exactly was the secret juicer to get you from there to here? A lot of people have these crazy big dreams, but they just cannot seem to connect the bridge from current to dreams, you know? Because dreams, it can't be a reality, it's just one of those. That's just gotta happen. It's, you know, pretty simple equation. You guys know I'm nothing special. I am the most normal frat dude, like, no special talents, not very smart. Well, technically 79. 79! Oh my God, there's no way I got 79. But it's neither here nor there. Wasn't very popular, not good in social situations, like, you name it. Everything I am bad at. But somehow I pulled it off. So today, here I am, putting you guys on the game. What exactly did I do to get there?
Other people who are looking at you saying, no, Mike, this is what you have. This is what you can be. This is what you are. Nah, that can't, no, that's too good. No, that ain't me, you know? Your own presence in a situation where you have to step back and look at yourself and be like, am I this guy right now? Like, oh man, there's a room full of people who showed up because of something I'm doing, and they're in service or in support of my idea, my thing, okay? That looks and feels like I'm the guy, okay? I'm in the industry where, you know, the success of your work and your art has been, you know, dictated and validated by other people's opinions. And whether those opinions are factual or projected on you from their own individual perspective, I think it was a combination of all those things. And I've always been curious and walked towards how do I make myself better? What are the things that I need, the tools that I need in order to improve myself, the way I think, how do I maximize myself, you know? So from, I think, getting an executive coach, who talks to executives all day and how to create healthy conversations, the right type of conversations to have as you're building a team around you. Because, as you know, it's not just us. We have an entire team of people that surround us that help us achieve our dreams and get the big idea done. A spiritual advisor, a spiritual coach that I have who, helps me do my energy work, my spiritual work, and help sift through the noise and find those things. And I think it wasn't until I had, roles that challenged my spirit and myself in a real way that in the weight and where the attention was so loud that it was, it was deafening, and I couldn't, see clearly. And, these are champagne problems. You know what I'm saying? That we're blessed. So, but the weight is so heavy, and people sometimes think and they see what we have or what, what we're doing, and it's like, oh, just be grateful, or just, what are you complaining about, and most people wouldn't be able to walk, a block in our shoes, with this stuff. And I think it was, and you have moments where you resent things and you're angry at, the feelings that you accumulate for not being clear or not understanding, why this. There's a lot of whys, and you're not going to get all the answers, but you want to, be able to get to a place where you're clear. So to answer your question, when did I decide? When did I when did I feel like that? Maybe 2 years ago, maybe a year ago. You look at where your family has come from, and shit, look at your bloodline. You look at your community. You're like, man, there's a cycle there from generation to generation that happens. When you get to yourself, and you're like, man, can I stop this? Can I change this? I could do this. Once you know better, you got to almost do better. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And I refuse to ignore it. I refuse to see it an opportunity that I had to change things and act like it didn't exist. And I think that was the thing for me that was like, nah, I gotta, if that's my purpose, if that's my path, is to just see it and I can see the pieces, and if I can just continue to do this, or if I stay down the pathway on that, and I might be able to make a big difference in my nephew's life or my future children's, my future grandchildren's life, I gotta do that. Because there's been so many people that it wasn't the perfect storm for them to have that opportunity. It wasn't the right time in the world. Technology wasn't there. The resources, the right social conversations are being had for us to have these platforms and speak and be successful the way we are. You gotta do it. And I think that was a big part of it, understanding my own mortality, and understanding, that, life isn't a forever thing. And I think that happens when you get older too. You know what I'm saying? Like, just turned 37. And it's like, wow, I vividly remember, 15. I vividly remember 21. I vividly remember 25, 30, and I used to look at 35, 37 like ancient, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh man, we're here. And it's like, you got to do what you got to do while you're here and make an impact. You got to fulfill yourself, whatever that may be, The
more time you spend alone with yourself, the more time that you will be able to understand who you are. When I mean understand who you are, I'm talking about without any outside interference, without any friends, without any peer pressure of wanting to be like someone else. The more time you spend alone, you're going to figure out, okay, what your purpose is. And I say that because of this. God will talk to you. You start seeking in those moments of not having any outside distractions, what happens is things become clear. Clarity sets in. And you're able to make decisions not based on what you saw that day or what you heard that day or what that person may have said to you. You're able to make decisions based on how you feel internally.
That's a good point. If your life is shitty right now, that's a good thing. You are currently putting in the trials for your future success so that you are prepared. You have put in the work. You have gone through the you've gone through the thick of it, so you deserve your future success. And when you have your future success, it will be real. Another good example is myself. When I was 18 years old, I made $900,000. I was doing high leverage Bitcoin and Ethereum trading, got super lucky, made $900,000, dropped out of college. I was successful. I didn't earn that success. I was lucky. 8 months later, I had blown all my money. I owed the IRS $250,000 because apparently drugs and vacations don't count as a tax write-off, which is bull for the record. 100% that should have been a tax write-off. But either way, I blew that money on cars, drugs, private jets, and now all of a sudden I have no skills, no job, no money, and a nasty addiction. Yikes. Before I went broke, everyone thought I was sick. And then after that, after I went broke, nobody thought I was dope. Oh, haha, look at Togi, what a idiot. Don't worry about what others have. Sometimes the grass is greener on the other side because the grass is fake. You never know what somebody actually has. So if you're wasting all your energy and your time worried about, oh, this is bullshit, they have this, they have that, why don't I have the XYZ? You're wasting your time on somebody that might have fake grass. And finally, when you do find success, because you will, stay vigilant and stay humble, because you never know. Sometimes if you have success and it was a little too easy, it's hard to see at the time. Again, when I was 18, I thought I made all that money because I was smart, because I was good at cryptocurrency trading. Classic Dunning-Kruger effect. If you guys aren't familiar with the Dunning-Kruger effect, it's when you first embark on something, about 2 to 4 weeks in, you feel like you know everything about it. And then as you learn more and more about whatever it is you're diving into, you realize you don't know about it. But a lot of people get stuck at the top of the Dunning and then they get Krugered. I think that's why it's called the Dunning-Kruger. Dunning-Kruger. You don't want to get Krugered and you don't want to stay at the Dunning. You have to stay humble because it might not be what you think. I'm being a total hypocrite by saying that because I have always consistently throughout my life flexed earlier than I should have, and I get humiliated for it every single time. So I'm just telling you guys, don't do the same mistake as me, because I played myself.
So that. What should the real goal of your life be in your 20s, and what do most people get wrong?
For that answer, I would really recommend reading my book Mastery, because I go into that quite deeply. So you need to think of your 20s, which is by far the best years of your life. Let's get that straight first of all. It was the best years of my life, right? It's the most exciting. You know, you're young, you look good, you got energy, you know, you dress well probably, I hope. The thing that you want from your 20s is you want an apprenticeship, right? You want to learn. You want learning skills. You want to learn skills, solid skills, so that by the time you turn 30, which is the critical turning point in your life, I said the 20s are your most fun. The 30s are the key part of your life, which is my key part, the late 30s. When you're 30, you want to I had fun, I had adventures, I traveled, you know, I dated, I did everything I wanted, but I also learned things. I learned A, B, and C skills. You don't have to learn just one skill. You can learn 3 skills, 3 things that you master, that you spent 7 years going into deeply. But if you wasted your 20s, if you just had fun, if you just did whatever you wanted to, by the time you hit 30, nothing will stick together, nothing will cohere. You've been stretched too thin. But if you're linear, laser focused, I'm just going to go to Goldman Sachs, I'm going to get a job, I'm going to get paid $150,000 a year. You're not spreading yourself out. You're not learning enough skills. You're not developing yourself inwardly. You know, learning a skill is a skill, but learning is a skill. And in order to learn, you have to be able to put up with boredom, frustration, and tedium. So if you're able to put up, because right now, young people have it really, really bad because things are so easy for them that they don't have the patience to learn something. They just want to get onto ChatGPT. Everything is fed to them. You need to be able to put up with the tedium, the boredom that learning a skill involves.
Let them lose you. It's gonna be one of them ones, as you could tell by the tonality of my voice and the fact that I'm walking around. If you know me and I'm walking around, it's only one of three things. It's anxiety, it's something I'm passionate about, or the thoughts is overwhelming. I avoided this video topic due to it being a bit sensitive in the things that I'm going through in life right now. But it is absolutely necessary, and I feel like it's time for me to make this video. But yes, let them lose you. You can't hold on to people, relationships, or even sometimes jobs or anything that makes you feel as if you have to prove yourself to them, or you have to prove your value to them, or prove that you're the right choice, because all it is doing is hurting you and limiting you by holding up the capacity inside of your brain that where other space or energy can be going towards that you can grow, or better said, for your growth. Stop holding on to these things. It's all they are doing is hurting you. I'm actually finna try to force myself to sit down. I feel a little bit calm after getting the intro out the way. That's the nerves and got out of the way a little bit. Let's go ahead and sit down. I'm gonna force myself to sit down, but if need be, I need to get up. I will be getting up and walking around. That's a bit better. Let them lose you. Let them lose you. Stop holding on to these things of people that make you feel as if you have to prove something to them or show them that you're the right choice. No matter what it is, whether that's in relationships, friendships, being on a job, any of these things, you may have to just detach and let them miss out on the greatness of you. This is something that I personally struggle with, and you may struggle with as well, is letting people miss out on you. Sometimes that's precisely the thing that you have to do. I'm learning how to come to peace with that. I never felt like I was anybody's first choice, and chances are you may have felt that way too at some point. But in regards to my life, in any aspect, whether it's even something as simple as playing basketball or going on a trip or hanging out with people, I've always never felt that I was the best choice, even though I understood the qualities in which that I would bring to whatever it is, whatever activity, whatever relationship or anything that it is. I understood that, and it evolved into an issue for myself, and it evolves into issues for a lot of people, is where we feel as if we have to prove ourselves and prove our value towards people. Part of it is kind of the ego or the mindset of it, and it's a good and bad thing, but what I'm noticing more so is I've been taking more negative than I have positive when it comes into that. When it comes to you holding on to relationships or being in relationships where it comes to where you feel as if you have to prove your value, you get into this mindset at a certain point where it's like, I'll show you. Let me adjust the camera real quick. But yes, you get into that I show you mindset, and it is something that can be very toxic to yourself, because these same people that you're holding on to, trying to prove your value to, try to show them that you're the best choice, you're going to continue to do so, and guess what's going to happen to you when they don't give you that validation that you've been craving or seeking? You're going to be very disappointed. You're going to be hurt. You're going to start to question your own value. You're going to start to question yourself as to what you truly bring is of quality, or if you are the right choice. Yeah, no, we can't continue to put ourselves in that mindset. We can't put our frame into that mindset. And in doing that, we have to understand our own value. And the crazy thing about it is that a lot of us truly do kind of already understand our value, or we're at least working on improving our value. But when it comes to these relationship dynamics with people and things of that, we always try to show our value or make someone feel, or we always try to show someone our value, or more so seek from the validation of them, or more so seek the validation of them saying like, hey, you're great.